Hey guys, Katie Deitsch here. I just wanted to share a little bit about my weight loss story and finding health and fitness with you in hopes that something I say will click with you and you will be inspired or motivated to keep going and doing what you're doing. I'm really nervous, so forgive me. I don't do videos often. This is really outside my comfort zone. But I wasn't always overweight. I was a little bigger probably than most of the other girls growing up, but not much and not enough to be considered fat. I was pretty active through grade school. I played volleyball, basketball, soccer, softball, and I played freshman softball for my high school, so I was pretty active till then. Even though I ate horribly, I ate a lot of fast food and drank a lot of pop. Everything was kind of under control because I was a pretty active kid. And I really loved softball, and I was pretty tiny. I'll show you a little picture. That was me. And after that year, things rolled around, and I was lazy. I didn't want to do the conditioning for softball. So after one day of conditioning in my 10th grade, I said, nope, forget it. I'd rather hang out with my friends. And that's what I did. But I still really wasn't all that worried about my weight, though I was always self-conscious. It wasn't until I graduated high school. I was probably 140 pounds when I graduated, maybe give or take a few pounds either way. But I got my first desk job when I was 19, and I sat in front of a computer for 8 hours a day. And we ordered a lot of lunches and ate pizza and chicken fingers and hamburgers, cheeseburgers, cheese fries. We didn't eat good at work. And then I would come home to my boyfriend who lived with me and my family, and we literally ate fast food for dinner every single night. And then sometimes on the weekends too, for breakfast or lunch, whatever. But for the next 8 years, I don't think one day passed where we didn't eat fast food. It's really disgusting to think about it now, but for us that was normal. Going and driving up the street 5 minutes to get something for dinner was just routine. Neither of us knew how to cook, and it just happened. And we weren't really responsible with our body and didn't really exercise either. We were pretty lazy. But as I got older, I was pretty self-conscious still. A lot of my friends could wear bikinis and like short shorts and tank tops, and they looked fine, and I wore those things, but I wasn't comfortable wearing them, and I surely didn't look attractive wearing them. But it wasn't really until probably when we talked about having a baby that, my weight really became an issue. I used to look at my friends who did watch what they eat and would work out, and when they would talk about it, I would think, I don't care. That's all you talk about. You're obsessed with it. And little did I know that it wasn't really the way I was perceiving it. That was dedication on their part, and I didn't understand because I didn't live in that same world that they did. So when it was time to lose weight to have a baby, I didn't really give it my all. We joined a gym, and I would run on the treadmill for 15 minutes, and then I would come home and I'd still eat fast food. And after a month, I wondered why. I only lost 5 pounds, or I didn't lose anything. And I would feel really discouraged. And so after, months of prepping and not really losing weight, I sort of felt like maybe we should just have a baby now. You're going to gain a lot of weight anyways. It doesn't matter. It's not important. So we did. We tried. I got pregnant. And, we went to my OB, and they have the little chart that sits next to the scale and where they take your blood pressure. And when they took my weight, I think I was about 189 pounds then, but I was still in the overweight column, and that was incredibly embarrassing for the nurse to say, your weight puts you in this column that says you're obese, you're severely obese, you shouldn't weigh this. Considering I'm only about 5 feet, that's a lot of weight on a little frame. And I went and I sat in my OB's room where they have their discussions with their patients, and it was really hard for her, to probably make me understand how important this was. But when she said that I could only gain 10 pounds for my entire pregnancy, that was sort of a wake-up call for me. I felt really bad about myself, and I wondered how I was going to do that, but I was incredibly sick for the next 3 months, and it wasn't really a problem because I could hardly keep anything down, but I was still eating bad food. I was drinking a lot of pop because Coke settled my stomach, and water made me feel really sick. But then when we got to 29 weeks, I had to do a routine appointment at my OB for an ultrasound and some other just normal checkup stuff. And my blood pressure was really high that day. And they wondered why in the ultrasound the baby looked really small and underweight and underdeveloped. And I ended up having to go to the hospital. They were going to do some more, blood work and testing and things over the weekend. And by the time I got there, my blood pressure was even higher. And it was brought up to me that I would probably deliver my baby early, though it sort of seemed like this far off, imagination or dream that wasn't really real. But every hour that they came back to check on me, I was sick, and my blood pressure was higher and higher. And at one point, they had to pad my bed because they thought I was going to have a seizure or possibly die. And that was really scary. I had preeclampsia and HELLP syndrome, and I was swollen everywhere, holding a lot of water. I was really sick, and before the night was over, I had an emergency C-section, and I delivered this tiny 1 pound 11 ounce baby girl who was tiny, tiny, tiny. And when we went to the NICU to see her, she had to be in an incubator, and sometimes we were there multiple times a day, but every time we sat at her bed, I couldn't help but think, it's all your fault. If you had eaten better foods or drinking more water, or if you had just taken care of yourself and been more active, you wouldn't be in this situation. You wouldn't have this tiny little baby who's fighting for her life, and you wouldn't have to live in a NICU in a hospital and feel bad when you see other moms who have big pregnant bellies or healthy babies. And that was really hard. I blamed myself for a long, long time in thinking that my unhealthy habits were the reason I had this tiny baby. And the doctors said that probably, would never be proved, that I couldn't blame myself because it could have happened if I was really thin. But that was another wake-up call for me that I needed to do something. But for the next 2 years, I really wasn't. We were busy and dealing with her, and I just sort of pushed it aside. And as she got older, she is a busy bee, and she never stops, and she hardly naps. And I was out of breath, you know, carrying her, picking her up, walking from my car to my building at work. Everything made me tired, and I knew I needed a change. And I actually talked to my doctor about weight loss surgery, and they told me that I wasn't big enough, you know, at 5 feet, and at this point I was over 200 pounds. I wasn't, you know, what they deemed to be overweight enough for surgery. And when I talked to my friends and told them what I was thinking, they gave me some tough love and told me that I didn't need weight loss surgery. I just needed to get serious and eat healthy and work out. And so at Thanksgiving, I decided I was going to make a change. I cut out the fast food, and I started doing DVDs I had at home, and the weight started coming off. And then they introduced me to my fitness coach in January. And, you know, over the next couple months, I sort of learned about Beachbody and what she did and what products they offered. And at Easter, I finally gave in and made the decision to order TurboFire. And at that point, I was already down quite a bit. I had started out, I think, at 207 at Thanksgiving, and I was probably down about 30 to 40 pounds at that point. And so I was really excited, and I got TurboFire, and I fell in love, and I tried Shakeology for the first time, and it was so good, and it's just changed my life. I have a support system now that I didn't have before. I have my two best friends who will send me messages every day and, you know, check in with me, and they kind of kept me going, especially in the beginning when I didn't even believe in myself. They believed in me. And I had my fitness coach who believed in me, and believed in me enough that she offered me the opportunity to be a coach. And I kept thinking, I'm not coaching material. I don't look like those models in magazines or on TV, or even the girls in the workout video. I don't look like that. Nobody would be inspired by me. And eventually, when I decided to order TurboFire at Easter, I did sign up to be a coach, and it's been the best thing I could have done for myself. It gives me extra accountability and has introduced me to a whole new world of people that, you know, I can call friends. They're like-minded people who have done what I've done, moms who've had babies and lost the baby weight, and people who just get it. They understand why working out is so important, and it's just nice to have people that you connect with. And it's really crazy to say that last year this was me, and I was probably at my highest weight ever. Actually, this was probably 2 years ago, but I was at my highest at 213. And today I'm at 148, and that's a lot of weight for a person to lose in less than a year. But I'm not stopping now, and coaching is giving me the opportunity to connect with other people and to really share my story, and just hopefully inspire someone else to never give up, to keep doing what they're doing, because there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And you just have to work really hard for it. So I hope that you guys will keep doing what you're doing, and I'm so glad that, you know, I have the support that I do with my friends and my family and all the people that follow me on Facebook or Instagram that, you know, like my pictures and my statuses. So thanks to all you guys. I love you.